everybody want it to continue to be a show and not really show facts as it relates to what's really going on in our township.
We're not having no meeting at no Dalton Park District, so I'm just making that crystal clear. Clerk, what are you doing? You out of order. You out of order. Did I call the roll? Did I say call the roll? I'm still speaking. You're out of order, Clerk Key. You out of order, Clerk Key.
Tiffany Henyard appears to be in a panic after the FBI revealed her alleged $100 million scam. A life of luxury based on deceit was hidden from millions of people, and now everyone is witnessing the inevitable downfall. This is the scan that's about to blow everything wide open. Tiffany Henyard, the untouchable mayor of South Chicago, was once hailed as the super mayor. She finally turned herself in after a shocking FBI raid revealed her hidden truth. While her town was drowning in debt, she lived like royalty and enjoyed an opulent, jet-setting lifestyle financed by taxpayer dollars. Now, however, her life is unraveling and she faces up to 25 years in prison. Not your average corruption case. Millions of taxpayer funds are purportedly embezzled, hidden, and spent here. After months of tracking, the FBI finally took action with a flurry of subpoenas and whispered negotiations behind closed doors. However, the most painful thing is that this is not Henyard's first run-in with the law. Her previous run-in was for vehicle trespassing. Now she faces a lengthy list of charges that could result in actual jail time. Tiffany is showing off her authority in a taxpayer-funded motorcade, acting as though it's a private game. But wait until you hear how she turned Dalton's treasury into her personal shopping spree. Tiffany could care less about you, the people of Dixon, Illinois, or the town's financial woes as her city falls apart. In a year, how can a town go from being prosperous to bankrupt? 2 words: Mayor Moneybags. Tiffany wasn't content to live a luxurious lifestyle. She was living an extravagant lifestyle entirely on Dalton's tab. As a small-town mayor with big city ambitions and an even bigger taste for the high life, she was living it up as if she had hit the jackpot. On September 1st, 2023, she went on a $7,700 shopping spree at Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair all in one day. Guess who paid the tab? The hard-working taxpayers of Dalton. Mayor Henyard wasn't about to settle for the economy class like the rest of us. Instead, she chose to live the high life, flying first class throughout. Tiffany went so far as to hire a professional hair and makeup team because, evidently, looking glamorous all the time is essential when you're busy running a town into the ground.
And I just spoke with Mayor Tiffany Henyard's personal attorney, who tells us the show must go on. You'll hear from him in a moment, but he says not only does Henyard still intend to convene tonight's meeting, she also plans to make a series of new village appointments.
You might be wondering how bad could things get in just a year under Henyard's administration. The village managed to burn through over $122,000 in travel expenses alone. Dalton, once sitting on a comfortable $5.6 million surplus, plunged into a $3.6 million deficit in just 12 months, while the town's finances nosedived faster than a contestant on a shopping spree. Henyard was living large, as if starring in her own episode of Real Housewives of Illinois. The situation got so outrageous they had to ban her from using village credit cards for any unapproved purchases. Imagine being the mayor and suddenly having your financial tap turned off. If you thought the earlier spending spree was wild, brace yourselves. We're about to veer onto Henyard's driveway, and believe me, it's paved with more than just good intentions. Turns out she wasn't just indulging herself, she was sharing the wealth with her family, and by wealth, I mean a hefty sum of taxpayer dollars. Try a whopping $561,000 on for size. That's what she shelled out to repave her mother's driveway. Yes, you heard right, over $500,000 for a single driveway. But our Dew and Diva didn't stop at family home improvements. Oh no, she figured the town's police force would make a great personal security team. Why bother with officers patrolling the streets when the mayor needs a full-on chauffeur service, right? While the baffled residents of Dalton are left questioning the sudden vanishing act of their police force, Henyard's got them out running personal errands as if they're her own private TaskRabbits, according to a former police chief who didn't hold back from spilling the tea. While Henyard seemed to be living like she had her own personal secret service, the rest of Dalton was left wondering if anyone was even around to answer a 911 call. But But Tiffany, she wasn't about to let something as minor as rules spoil her fun. Even after her spending privileges were revoked, she kept the party going strong. It was almost as if she believed being mayor gave her the right to reign over her own tiny kingdom despite being financially cut off by the Illinois State Controller for reckless spending. Henyard still went ahead and threw a lavish celebration for the suburban town, shelling out $50,000 for just an hour of performances. Kiki Wyatt and Jay Holiday pocketed $30,000 and $20,000 each for performing short 30-minute sets. But if that wasn't surprising enough, an extra $36,000 was shelled out for sound systems, staff, equipment, comedians, and yes, even $600 for bounce houses. Meanwhile, town residents like Jennifer Roberts were outraged. She vented to win $9. That's my money, our money. Former trustee Valeria Stubbs didn't pull any punches, branding the event a complete disaster with barely 70 people in attendance. Stubbs didn't hesitate to point fingers, accusing Henyard of using taxpayer money for self-promotion. Another resident, Sher Gritton, echoed those sentiments, but suggested Henyard wasn't backing down anytime soon. Tiffany's a narcissist. Britton said she'll keep doing whatever she wants until they slap cuffs on her, while all eyes were fixed on the FBI and outraged taxpayers. The true twist went unnoticed. The quiet assistant always shadowing Henyard, turns out she was the one holding the matches that would set everything ablaze. Meet Carmen Carlisle, once Tiffany Henyard indispensable confidant. She was Henyard's right-hand woman, privy to every secret, metaphorically speaking, of course. But something pushed her to the brink. Was it a guilty conscience, or had she simply grown weary of watching Dalton being swindled blind? Whatever the catalyst, Carlisle chose to spill the beans. She went from serving coffee to detonating her former boss's entire operation. For 2 years, Carlisle had a front row seat to all of Yard's escapades. And believe me, she witnessed enough to make your head spin. Corral headed straight to the federal authorities, clutching a towering stack of receipts that could rival Henyard's inflated ego. She revealed the full extent of Henyard's scheme, describing how Henyard had been treating Dalton like her personal cash cow. According to Carol, Henyard had been orchestrating manipulations involving employees, vendors, and residents, all while maintaining a facade of success. With that million-dual smile for the cameras, over the past 2 years, Henyard used her position to expand her influence, fabricating a false image of prosperity, all funded by the hard-working taxpayers of Thornton Township and Dalton. After Carol began speaking out, she was physically attacked, not just a nasty tweet or some harmful gossip, but a serious attack. While no one is pointing fingers, outright rumors suggest that Henyard might be involved, and Carol wasn't the only one to face trouble. Keith Freeman, Henyard's former aide, is also in hot water, now facing charges for bankruptcy fraud. The buzz is that he's cooperating with the FBI too. Henyard has a reputation for intimidating trustees and silencing anyone who dares to expose her shady practices. When firing them didn't suffice, she turned to taxpayer money to keep herself in the limelight, her face plastered on everything from billboards to government buildings like a grim dystopian ad advertisement. The impact goes beyond financial losses. Lives are being shattered, with survivors of Henyard's misconduct coming forward to share heart-wrenching stories of financial devastation and intimidation. This isn't merely about a corrupt mayor. It's about a woman who has appended an entire community.
What you see behind me right now are about 30 or so residents that are still standing by. These residents were unable to get inside of that meeting tonight. To our understanding, the meeting is still underway, but probably most notable, Henyard's former assistant, who has now filed a lawsuit against the mayor, and well-known community activist Andrew Holmes, who's also a Village of Dalton trustee.
Just as Tiffany Henyard thought she'd narrowly escaped trouble, she found herself targeted by a much fiercer force, the FBI. These agents aren't concerned with small change, they're zeroing in on substantial sums. Rumor has it the feds are thoroughly investigating Henyard's financial affairs, and they're not taking it lightly. We're talking about a barrage of subpoenas demanding everything from credit card records to personnel files. The drama ignited when the FBI descended upon Dalton's town hall, not for a casual chat, But with legal documents in hand prepared to unearth every misplaced cent, these subpoenas are laying bare the opulence of Henyard's lifestyle, her extravagant trips, the security detail that trailed her like she was a celebrity, and every last dollar that might have drifted from the town's funds into her designer handbag. The FBI isn't just scrutinizing Henyard's official activities, they're delving into her personal life as well. Her beloved cancer charity is under the magnifying glass, and they're also probing her political action committee, demanding access to its financial records. Even her private business ventures aren't escaping their intense scrutiny. It's as though the feds are connecting the dots of Henyard's financial dealings, and the emerging picture isn't looking good. Trustee Brittany Norwood has come forward, revealing, "We've been pleading for someone to come in and help us. There's been a lot of spending we weren't aware of, and we've been seeking answers." It seems the town's calls for assistance have finally reached the FBI. The federal authorities aren't just zeroing in on Henyard, they're casting a wide net, drawing in her political allies and anyone who might have dipped into the cookie jar. Rumor has it that the FBI is employing cutting-edge technology using electronic surveillance to uncover any covert activities Henyard and her associates might be involved in. Meanwhile, Henyard remains comfortably ensconced in her mayoral seat. It's astonishing, despite the feds tightening their grip and the town being in turmoil, she's carrying on as though it's business as usual. Residents of Dolton are growing increasingly impatient, questioning why justice seems to be dragging its feet. The residents of Dolton are at their breaking point, watching their town deteriorate, while Henyard seems to be living it up like she's starring in her own reality show. Just when it seemed like Henyard was ready to continue her defiant stand, she pulled off a shocking twist. Imagine this: the FBI is closing in, her inner circle is disintegrating, and out of nowhere, she decides to turn herself in, what would drive a small-town mayor who's been basking in luxury, to swap her opulent life for a jail cell. Allegedly, Tiffany has just handed herself over to the FBI. It's unbelievable. One moment, she's playing the part of a composed leader, and the next, she's surrendering like it's no big deal. Rumor has it that Henyard is cooking up a deal with the feds. Some folks think she's angling for a lighter sentence by ratting out her accomplice, but this isn't just about Henyard. The entire town of Dolton has been holding its breath, waiting for justice to make its move, and when it did, it hit with a bang. Remember how Henyard used to flaunt her glamorous lifestyle? Well, she's traded in her designer clothes for a jumpsuit, a stark contrast to her previous first-class faithlives and personal makeup artists. To add to the irony, her own lawyer has ditched her, leaving her to fend for herself with unpaid legal bills. Funny, considering she's been pulling in over $220,000 a year. Her cushy position as township supervisor came with a hefty paycheck, and she tried to game the system by passing a dubious ordinance that slashed the next supervisor's salary to $25,000, clearly aimed at scaring off any challengers. We're dealing with a degree of twist control that's been simmering for years. Residents have been rallying for justice, their outrage boiling over the situation has deteriorated so severely that they've even enlisted Lori Lightfoot at $400 an hour to help address the crisis. Just pause and consider how dire must things be for a town to call on the former mayor of Chicago to try to salvage their deteriorating community. Henyard's extravagant spending and blatant flouting of the laws soon caught up with her as Dolton grappled with a staggering debt approaching $20 million. The community was left yearning for a savior to restore order. The situation was further compounded by the mystery of the missing millions. Even though Henyard has turned herself in, there's no guarantee that the missing funds will suddenly reappear. The town remains in a dire financial state, with residents questioning if they will ever see any of that lost money again. Meanwhile, the mayor, notorious for once splurging $40,000 on Amazon in a single day, is now under federal investigation. Adding to the turmoil, the Illinois State Comptroller has halted $135,000 in state payments, a crucial lifeline Dolton desperately needs. If you think Henyard's troubles are limited to financial scandals, think again. She's now facing a lawsuit from former employee Dwayne Thrash, who alleges he was terminated for refusing to participate in one of Henyard's schemes. Some residents of Dolton are actually breathing a sigh of relief. Imagine being so disillusioned with your mayor that you're pleased to see her in handcuffs. It's as though the entire town has been living under a dark cloud, and now they're finally catching a glimpse of sunlight. Henyard downfall isn't solely about money. Her reputation has deteriorated with accusations of misconduct during city trips, wrongful terminations, and even allegations of mistreatment against employees. Here's where things get tricky. The status of Tiffany Henyard's surrender remains uncertain. Some speculate that she might be manipulating the situation, either holding out for a deal or shielding someone more powerful. While it's unclear whether she's actually in custody, the residents are growing hopeful that it won't be much longer. So what's next for Dalton? That's the million-dollar question. With their mayor potentially behind bars and their finances in disarray, the town faces a challenging future.
Your critics say that you have a significant security detail. First of all, how large is your police department in Dalton, and what is your security detail?
So we have about 45 officers in our village. My security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature, but what people are not stating is it's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it comes with a seat. That's what people are not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this and say, I want security.
Tiffany Henyard's bestie has just dropped some jaw-dropping receipts, and it seems like Dalton's top mayor has been caught up in more scandal than anyone anticipated. The tea being spilled is hotter than we thought, and it turns out the FBI were onto something with their investigation into Tiffany. However, Tiffany is not handling this betrayal well. Rumor has it she's planning to sue her bestie for the snitching, but here's the twist: her bestie has even more evidence to back up the claims and further humiliate Tiffany. Is this the end of Tiffany's reign, or is she gearing up for an epic comeback? Tiffany's best friend isn't just gossiping, she's dishing out a full-blown pot of scalding drama. We're talking about explosive evidence that could send Tiffany's political career plummeting faster than you can say corruption scandal. This isn't just trivial chatter, it's a reputation-destroying, career-ruining, freedom-threatening expose. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Tiffany isn't going down quietly. She's hitting back hard, suing her former friend for betrayal. Is this a strategic move or a desperate final stand? Rumor has it that the best friend has even more dirt to unveil. Will Tiffany's aggressive counterattack backfire? Stay tuned, because this political soap opera is far from over as Tiffany's legal saga with her best friend unfolds. Let's shift our focus to the intriguing rise of a small-town politician who has become Dalton's super mayor. The transformation is far more complex than the typical routine of kissing babies and cutting ribbons. Tiffany Henyard, a local girl with grand ambitions, has catapulted to political stardom, not only serving as Dalton's mayor, but also taking on the role of supervisor for Thoron Township. This isn't just about juggling two high-profile positions, it's about cashing in on dual paychecks too. Rumor has it that Tiffany's been pulling in over $200,000 annually from her various roles, a sum for a politician from a small town. But the plot thickens. It seems this so-called super mayor might have indulged a bit too extravagantly at the taxpayers' expense. While everyone enjoys a good shopping spree now and then, Tiffany's Amazon habits are raising some serious eyebrows, and that we're not just talking about the occasional office supply purchase, we're talking about shopping sprees so excessive they could make even the most avid influencer blush. And it doesn't end there. Tiffany's also been living the high life in Vegas, with the bill picked up by the hardworking residents of Dalton. But stay tuned, this story has more layers yet to be revealed. Remember, Tiffany's bestie, the one who's been dishing out all the gossip. It turns out she wasn't just an innocent bystander in this saga. Our sources reveal that she was right there with Tiffany, living the high life and receiving gifts worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Talk about friends with benefits. You might be wondering how no one noticed all this. Well, that's where it gets really intriguing. Tiffany's ad administration has been crafting a glossy image of success and progress, but the reality is far different. Former allies and employees are emerging, revealing tales of manipulation, retaliation, and a slew of shady dealings happening behind the scenes. It's like a political soap opera with real-world stakes for the people of Dalton. The drama began almost immediately after Tiffany assumed office in 2021. The cracks in Tiffany's seemingly flawless political image appeared, swiftly transforming her from a hometown hero to public enemy number one almost overnight. But here's the real question: did Tiffany genuinely think she could evade scrutiny? Was she under the illusion that no one would notice her extravagant trips, excessive spending, and sudden acquisition of designer goods? Or was she simply intoxicated by her newfound power, believing herself to be untouchable? Get ready to be amazed, because Tiffany Henyard security detail is truly something to behold. Imagine a small-town mayor with a level of protection that would make even A-list celebrities green with envy, and the cost it's enough to make even Jeff Bezos do a double take. Tiffany wasn't just looking to feel like a VIP, she aimed to embody one, and what better way to achieve that than with an entourage of bodyguards? But it's not just about flaunting her importance. Tiffany claimed she's facing serious threats, whether real or exaggerated, and she's using these alleged dangers to justify a security bill that's setting Doton back a cool million. Former police chief Robert Collins is clearly frustrated, remarking that the city urgently needed those officers patrolling the streets to combat crime. Instead, several are now assigned to safeguard the mayor. It's a stark trade-off. Tiffany's personal security appears to be taking precedence over public safety. Despite the $2 million deficit in the city's budget, Tiffany remains resolute, defending the necessity of her extensive protection. But with the financial strain growing, one can't help but question whether Tiffany's actions are about ensuring safety or merely serving her own interests. So that's all from today's video. Stay tuned to Star Rumors, and we will catch you in the next one. Thanks.